It's kind of shocking to think that Nick Cannon at one point in this country was a very respected person. He was a family guy and a leader that black people could look up to. Well, I think it's safe to say those days are long over. Hi, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Nick Cannon and his interview he did on The Breakfast Club, where he said that marriage was a Eurocentric concept and that it was essentially obsolete. So as many of us know, Nick Cannon was a star on America's Got Talent, and he was a family guy. He was the face of Nickelodeon at one point. So he was someone that was looked up to by many people. But now he's come out as full black supremacist. I mean, it's just a night and day scenario here. And his morality is in question when it comes to his choices with women, and that's his lifestyle, whatever. But then he's going to come after marriage and say that it's a Eurocentric standard, which is basically what he's trying to say is that it's racist. Okay, that's essentially what he's saying. He's putting it on race, as all these black supremacists do. Want to abdicate responsibility onto some arbitrary narrative that is absolutely untrue. It says here, Cannon's been a hot topic lately after having 4 kids by 3 women in a singular year, in 1 year. In total, he has 7 children, and fans have been questioning why the comedian and host impregnating so many women around the same time. Personally, this is not the point of this video, but I just want to point that out because it's a good context to put in place, because I think personally, my personal opinion is he's trying to abdicate his responsibility. He wants to, as in coming to America, sow his oats and be irresponsible. I'm gonna bring up some quotes from Barack Obama from 2008, which flies in the face of this, which is interesting because Barack Obama said that we should be responsible as fathers. I get to that in a second. Okay, so right now I gotta walk you through a little narrative here, okay? Because this is something that I've come up with, and I think I'm seeing it come to fruition here. And what I'm seeing is, when I was growing up, Black church was everything in the black community. And that came on the heels of the civil rights movement, where the black community was based around the black church. And that continued on through the Jim Crow era, going on back into slavery. And so those traditional values are ingrained in the black community, regardless of how badly it may be right now. Those values and traditions and mindsets are still very much part of the black community. And so my suspicion is this, is that organizations like Black Lives Matter and others want to tear that down, but they want to do it in such a way that's not so over the top and on the nose. They want to be more clandestine. Why do I say that? Well, remember back when September of last year, when Black Lives Matter took the fact that they wanted to get rid of the nuclear family off their website. It said here that they scrubbed a page on this website this week that disparaged the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. Now, it's gone from the website, but you know what? The internet always remembers. If you go out and actually look at the Internet Archive, you'll see right here, it says, "We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure required by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable." Now, why is this important? It's important because they no longer want the parents involved. They no longer want them to have the sole responsibility. They want it to be villages or the state, more or less, because villagers are citizens of the state who pay taxes. And so it's going to be a collective unit that are going to be watching our kids. And that is where they want to transition people into. And that's what they're trying to underpin in the black community, which is why people like Nick Cannon are dangerous, because he represents a new cultural thinking in the black community. And so it's a growing thing. Nick Cannon is not the only one. You can go a step further when you saw Black Lives Matter co-founder describe herself as a trained Marxist. We have a clip of her saying this herself. This happened in 2015. Check out this clip right here.
He was concerned, or is concerned, that that there's a lack of perhaps ideological direction in Black Lives Matter that would allow it to be to fizzle out, and as he said, in comparison to Occupy Wall Street value here. But how do you respond to those kinds of, again, loving criticisms?
I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
So Patrice Cullors, the co-founder of BLM, the first thing I think is that we have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia, the other person who's the other founder, in particular, are trained organizers. He says, we are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories. And I think that we really tried to do is build a movement that could be utilized by many, many black folk. You see, she's telling you right here what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of the nuclear family, and they're trying to redefine what it means to be black in America by using Marxist principles. And if you know anything about Karl Marx, you know that he himself was not a really good man who didn't even like black people. But yet we want to identify ourselves with his theories, which has been proven and proven and proven time and time and time again to be false and incorrect and impossible to put together. Socialism fails every chance it gets. So let me quickly share with you some quotes from Obama when he gave this speech on Father's Day in 2008 to an all-black church in Southside Chicago. These quotes are really interesting, and even though we know he wasn't being honest, we know he didn't mean it, he gave this speech simply to let black people know, look, I'm on your side. You know, I'm going to fulfill the promises that you feel that I represented, you know, coming off of the heels of MLK and other black leaders at the time. The sentiment was not there yet for the black community to take the same kind of message that BLM and Nick Cannon were given. So Obama didn't even try. He just told them what they wanted to hear. But what he said was no less true, saying this: of all the rocks upon which we build our lives, we are reminded today that family is the most important, and we are called to recognize and honor how critical every father is to that foundation, that they are teachers and coaches, they are mentors and role models, they are examples of success, and the men who constantly push us toward it. He also says this that I thought was interesting here. He says, it's a wonderful thing if you are married and living in a home with your children, but just don't sit in the house and watch SportsCenter all weekend long. So he says here, it's good to have a nuclear family. He says, I mean, it's good to be living at home with your children. That's a nuclear family. And that's what Obama's saying. And BLM said the opposite. Of course, they don't want that to be known, so they got rid of it off their websites, but you can go see what they actually believe today. What do you think about Nick Cannon saying that, in lack of a better term, that marriage is racist? And what do you think about Obama's speech, what he said, and the fact that he didn't do anything about that? He just did it just to, in my opinion, just to placate to a black church because he knew that the world wasn't ready for what he really felt. Let me know. I'd be curious to know what you think. And also, if you like this content on this channel, we have some more videos picked out for you right